So one of my favorite things about the fall season is pumpkin pie. It is particularly this time of year when my mom stocks our fridge with the Costco size pumpkin pie. You see, it is the little things like pie that reminds me of the sweetness of life. And life goes by pretty fast. If we're not intentional about slowing down, we can miss it. Yes, it is possible for us to miss the sweetness of life if we do not savor it. The life God has given us is precious, but sometimes life can be frightening. In fact, this past week, I was frightened by life. I was frightened when I read an article published by the Catholic World Report. A journalist revealed that from the year 2000 to 2017, the rates of major depressive episodes increased an astonishing 122%. There has been increased rates of depression and growing rates of suicide amongst Generation Z, that is, those who are 8 years old to 23 years old. Depression is an epidemic in our world today. Maybe you or a loved one has experienced this epidemic. You see, when I read this article, I felt saddened. But within a moment, I felt empowered. I was empowered because this article reminded me of a friend who had been diligently fighting against giving into the despair of mental illness, or at least the despair that mental illness can produce. It seems that many of us have felt like the mother and her 7 sons in our first reading, who were arrested and tortured with whips and scourges by the king to force them to eat pork and violating God's law. Have you ever felt tortured by the misfortunes of life? Have you ever been frustrated by the fact that when you try so hard to do what is right, or try so hard to be a good Catholic, it seems as if life challenges your faith even more? This is not a coincidence. This is sanctification. Brothers and sisters, take courage. Take courage, for God speaks boldly to us in this Sunday's gospel. Jesus says, I am not God of the dead. I am God of the living. The present day evils and sufferings and frustrations that confront us in our lives is permitted by God in order for us to become saints. We become saints by embracing the cross, not by running from the cross. We embrace the cross because the cross is the only way to heaven. The cross is the only way to heaven. We are not like the Sadducees who deny that there is a resurrection. In fact, the Sadducees remind me of a young high school Anthony who once lived by the phrase, YOLO, you only live once. No, we're made to live forever. We are Christians. We are people of the good news of Jesus Christ. Our God is strong, He is trustworthy, and He is faithful. These are 3 truths we need to plant deeply into our hearts. Jesus is strong, Jesus is trustworthy, and Jesus is faithful. God will see us through whatever problems we are experiencing in life. We can depend on Him. For our problems and sufferings we experience are permitted by God in order for us to become saints. And how beautiful is that? It is fitting we have these readings this weekend. After a week, we celebrate All Saints Day, and then right after, All Souls Day. I pray that we can be like the family in the first reading, a family who suffered the world's misfortunes and evils for the sake of their sanctification and the sanctification of others. I pray that the world will look at all of you like the king looks at the family of 7. For scripture says, even the king and his attendants marveled at the young man's courage, because he regarded his sufferings as nothing. When we live our faith in the world, we will inspire others. We will bring hope to others. And we will be the healing remedy that people need. People are hungry for hope in our world. That is, the hope that only comes in Jesus. As sweet and savory as life can be, we were made to pass through this life in order to live with God forever in the life to come. This week, instead of savoring a pumpkin pie or a nice big piece of pumpkin pie, savor something even sweeter. That is, the truth that Jesus is strong, he is trustworthy, and he is faithful. Write this down. Post it on your mirrors. Put it on your fridge. Put it at the desk at work. Put these truths where you can see them. For God has made you to be his saint.